Hi, my name is Daniel Carroll, and this is going to be a presentation on SEO intended for the followers of Hammerback Media's Facebook group. This presentation would be most appropriate for anyone that is managing their own website and are looking for some tips to improve their website's ranking through the use of some simple SEO techniques. So before we get started, I want to define SEO, and I'm going to quote Rand Fishkin, the founder of Moz.com. SEO is a marketing discipline focused on growing visibility in organic search engine results, which are the non-paid ones. SEO encompasses both the technical and creative elements required to improve rankings, drive traffic, and increase awareness in search engines. There are many aspects to SEO, from the words on your page to the way other sites link to you on the web. Sometimes SEO is simply a matter of making sure that your site is structured in a way that search engines understand. I want to point out that all of the efforts that we're going to be describing today are going to have the goal of doing one of the three underlined things. We're going to be trying to improve rankings, drive traffic to your website, or increase the awareness that search engines have. So there are many different areas of SEO that you can consider, from mobile-first design, the information in your header, whether or not your marketing tactics are spammy, your linking strategy, the word count, whether or not you have an effective call to action. There's specific pieces of data that needs to be structured in different ways, like reviews and your contact information, whether or not the content on your web page is optimized, and if you are writing human content and how good it is. So there are 4 different things that I'm going to talk about, that they're going to be tactics that you can take home with you today. The first one is going to be appropriate use of the title tag, appropriate use of the description tag, and the difference between what a ranking factor and a click factor is. I'm also going to talk about your link strategy, and we're going to take a potentially dangerous ride on a train. So before we get started, let's define keyword. Keywords are words or phrases that represent key importance to a specific piece of content on your website. You also have keywords specific to your industry that you could focus on. So let's say that you are a car dealership and you're trying to improve how your business ranks in comparison to the big dealerships down the road. You have broad keywords like car and Chevrolet. You have more specific keywords like used car and Chevrolet Camaro. And you can see how the search term car, let's say it produces 10 million results on Google. The word used car is obviously going to narrow down those results to maybe 1 million results, because there are a lot less specific pages that are focused on used cars versus cars in general, which is going to include new and used cars. And then we've got long tail keywords such as 2017 Chevy Camaro engine specifications. That narrows down the pool even more. There's probably only 100 pages that are dedicated to the engine specifications of this specific year's Camaro. And then you have transactional keywords to focus on, which we're focusing on the people that are ready to spend money. Buy Chevy Camaro. 2017 Camaro deals are a couple of examples. So now that we have a better understanding of keywords, let's move on to those 4 actionable things that we talked about. So the title tag. A title tag is an HTML element that specifies the title of a web page. Title tags are displayed on search engine result pages, I'll call them SERPs from now on, and the clickable headline for a given result. So that's the blue text that's in a Google search result, the title tag. They are important for usability, SEO, and social sharing. The title tag of a web page is meant to be an accurate and concise description of the page's content. So now that you've got an example of what it is, the blue text that's in a Google search result, and that it's supposed to be a description, let's go over some rules. It needs to be between 50 and 60 characters, which includes the white space between characters. So a space is a character. A minus sign, like the one in between the numbers 50 and 60, is a character. It's not an actual rule of 55 or 57 characters. It's a representation of space. So don't say, oh no, this is 55 characters, I can't be any more, go ahead and try it. And if it doesn't work in the Google search result, if it gets truncated, then reduce in number the characters that you use. This is one of the most important on-page ranking factors for Google. So your title tag is going to be one of the most important things that we discussed today that has to do with where you rank in search results. It's also a very important thing that determines whether or not the user that sees the result is going to click on it, and we call that a click factor. It helps with web browser organization because the title tag tends to be what your browser uses to code that tab. So if you've got 10 tabs open, having an appropriate title tag makes it fairly easy to find that content when a searcher has a bunch of browser tabs open. Title tags need to be unique for every page, and they also should be written so that human beings can understand them. The title tag also gets used in social networks as one of the main headlines when someone shares your link on social media. The very bottom bullet there gives you the primary format that you should use for making a title tag. You should use your primary keyword minus your secondary keyword, vertical par, branding name. And it's not so important that you follow that exact format with the minus sign and the vertical par, but put your most important things to say at the beginning of your title tag is what I mean by that. So we'll talk about how to form good title tags in a second. So let's talk about the description tag. Meta descriptions are HTML attributes that provide concise explanations of the content of web pages. Meta descriptions are commonly used on SERPs to display preview snippets for a given page. So we'll talk about what that is in just a second. But let's go over a few more rules. You have 155 characters, including white space, to make up your description tag, which is that 600 pixels of width, over 2 lines for now. It does not affect your page ranking at all, but it is one of the primary factors that users are going to consider when they decide whether or not to click on your link in search engine results. You should use the description tag as ad copy. It's your first opportunity to advertise your business. It also is the text that frequently accompanies the title tag when you share a link on social networks. There needs to be a unique description page or tag for every single page on your website. However, unlike title tags, you're not going to get punished for that. I guess I should reiterate now, since I didn't before, if you don't have a unique title tag for every one of your pages and you simply use the brand name of your business for every page, Google's going to punish you for that, and they're not going to consider your title tags when they're giving ranking value to your page. If your competition is doing that, then that means you're going to fall below your competition. So let's get back. The last rule, don't use any quotes in your description tag. If you do, Google's going to end the description right there, and it's not going to look very good. So let's talk about a local dealership in Jacksonville. I made up everything that you're going to see in this search result, so it doesn't actually represent the business that is linked here. It just happens to be the dealership that I bought my car through. So I searched Chevrolet car dealerships in Jacksonville, and Tom Bush Cars in Jacksonville is one of the first things that comes up. This is an example of somebody that did not do any optimization of their title tag and their description tag. If you see the blue text in that result is the title tag, the black text is the description tag. However, there wasn't actually a description tag that was chosen, so Google just kind of pulled the first text that it saw off the page and used that as a description tag. And you can see how that's not very effective. Also, the title tag is way too long here, and you can see that it's been truncated and you've got little dots at the end, so you can't really tell exactly what they were trying to get across in the title. So I did a little bit of work, and I've optimized that listing, and here's an example of how to write an appropriate title tag and description tag for this result. New and used Chevrolet cars and trucks. That's talking about our keywords there. There's primary and secondary keywords, new cars, used trucks. Those are some keyword combinations there in the title tag. And Tom Bush Chevrolet, that's going to be the brand name. If you see down in the description, it says spring rebates are happening now at Tom Bush dealerships. That is something that's going to entice the user to potentially know that there's a good deal after this click, and that deal is limited time. And then we've got a statement that says we have Jacksonville's largest inventory of new and used Chevrolet cars, trucks, and SUVs. That lets them know that they're going to find probably what they're looking for if they click on this result. We've dramatically improved the clickability of this result, and it would be very reasonable to expect that the rank of this result in search engines would be improved by these simple changes. So now let's try a transactional phrase like buy new Chevy Camaro, and let's look at a result that would come up for that. Once again, we've got the uncustomized result above showing the same title tag for every page, and not having a description tag pulls random text off the page. And it looks like this text is almost completely irrelevant to the search because it says something about a 1966 Camaro, and our search was for a new Camaro. In reality, the first bit of text that's on the page about the Chevy Camaro on their website describes the history and the lineage of the 50th anniversary Camaro. It would be important to customize a description tag to give a better clickable result. So let's show what that would look like. This customized title tag shows the searcher that what they are going to get is exactly what they were looking for. A 2017 Chevy Camaro. That's the first thing that you read, and it's very relevant to the search result. $2,500 off MSRP. That really inspires a click from our brand, Tom Bush Chevrolet. The description tag, once again, has been customized, and it inspires a whole lot more clicks than the generic description tag that got pulled above. I want to mention once again that this is not produced in affiliation with Tom Bush Chevrolet. It just happens to be the vehicle dealership that I used when I bought my car. So Tom Bush, please don't sue me. So the next thing that you can take home to your business so that you can improve your website is the chain of links. And before we get into how to build an appropriate link sharing campaign, let's get into the nitty-gritty about what a link is. Right underneath the red bar here, you can see what the HTML text that makes up a link actually looks like. The part on the left is the link destination, and the part on the right is the anchor text. The link destination has to do with where the link is going to take you. The content of the page that the link takes you to should be directly relevant to what the anchor text suggests. It's even better if the site hosting the link is relevant to the anchor text and the destination URL as well. The anchor text serves as your opportunity to provide a natural-looking, keyword-rich path that Google can use to find your website. It also should be used to entice readers to follow the link to your content. So here's an example of how you can use the above HTML link naturally in some page content, and this is pretending to be an excerpt of a review that someone has reviewed my business. Our brand decided on a local company called Hammerback to handle online advertising for us. Hammerback Media is the best, here's the link, PPC advertising and marketing budget management company you can find upstate New York. They developed excellent solutions that worked great. If you notice, the blue underlined text says PPC advertising and marketing budget management. That's the keywords that I'm wanting to rank for. And that is also the description of what you're going to find on that page when you go there. The better you do at making those kinds of statements lined up, the more valuable the link is going to be for you. So now that you know how to build a link, let's talk about distribution. I'm going to quote Rand Fishkin again when I say, for search engines that crawl the vast metropolis of the web, links are the streets between pages. Using sophisticated link analysis, the engines can discover how pages are related to each other and in what ways. So what you're going to start out with is a really smart internal linking system. You're going to want to make sure that all of your pages on your website are accessible to all of the other pages. And you should do so by developing a text-based link strategy. The easiest way to do this is to have a link to a sitemap on your homepage, and then within the sitemap, have a link to every page on your website. And that should serve search engines fairly well, but that's not going to serve your users very well. But you should do that so that search engines have no problem finding every link on your website. But that's a little bit of an extra tip. What I want you to focus on here is making sure that the navigation bar of your website functions well. Can you use the navigation bar to find all the important pages on your website without having to type any links in manually? If you can't find a page on your website by following 1 or 2 clicks at the most from the homepage, you might need to ensure that there are more links and more link groups on your homepage. And you might need to make some menus and submenus to be able to accomplish that. Next, you're going to want to make sure that all of the people in your social network and in relevant locations online have links to your website. Do people know where you're located online? You should create quality links that you distribute within that social network through blogs and to industry influencers within your industry. Search engines may appreciate the quality of the external links that you provide to readers, which means that the more high-quality links that point to your website that can be found on other high-quality websites on the internet, the higher up the search engine results for those relevant keywords Google is going to let you climb because of those links. And so that you can ensure that there's good value in the links, you're going to want to go to the previous links that have been distributed around the internet that lead to your website, and you're going to want to check them for quality. Make sure that the anchor text doesn't say click here. Make sure it has some of your valuable keywords in it. Make sure that it's formatted in a way that inspires the person to click. Make sure that it leads them directly to the page that has the relevant content on it, not just your home page or your Contact Us page, if there's a more relevant page that they could be delivering it to. So now let's talk about the call to action, not the Chicago Transit Authority. So the call to action is going to be that area of the website that you typically see right at the top of the page that's flashy, and it's where the website creator is trying to get you to do the thing that the website was made for. If you go to delta.com, you'll find a call to action at the top of the page that inspire you to book a ticket. If you go to thehilton.com, you're going to be able to book a hotel room. And if you go to Amazon.com, there's going to be a call to action that's going to show you products that you could purchase that are probably recommended based on your interests. The more effective your call to action is, the better. Here's an example. Schedule your test drive in an all-new 2017 Chevrolet Camaro. The call to action should be the primary goal of your page. It should be above the fold, which means that the user should not have to scroll down or to the right to be able to see the call to action. If they type in the URL or click a link and the web page loads, they should be able to see your call to action, whatever you're wanting them to do, without having to scroll. The next thing, it should be striking and obvious. That doesn't mean that it needs to be a blinking neon sign, but make it a non-tacky blinking neon sign. Call your users' attention to it. It's the thing that you want them to do because it's the thing that's probably going to make you money. So make it striking and make it obvious. And once you've called their attention to it, make sure that you have developed compelling text that inspires that audience to take action. And in case you haven't yet noticed the theme of today's advice, instead of chasing gimmicks like old black hat SEO advisors used to have you do, you should focus very heavily on creating the most valuable content that exists on the internet for your specific keyword. If you want users to find your content in the number one result, you should create the number one set of content for that result. If you do that, and then do a few technical things to ensure that search engines can understand and find that content, you'll end up on the first page of search results, no problem. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to send me an email or post the questions in a comment on this video. My name's Daniel Carroll, and this is another presentation brought to you by Hammerback Media.